Washington football. Woo! Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Burgundy Zone. I am your host, Kyle, and I am joined by my co-host, Michael Hall. Michael Reed will not be here today. He had a medical issue earlier. He had to go to the ER, but it looks like he's okay now, so prayers out to Reed. Hopefully he doesn't is not feeling too poorly. But the Burgundy Zone is a part of the Frederick Podcast Network. You can find out more by going to www.listenfrederick.com. But now we're rejoined by Pro Football Focus's own Nick Akridge, who covers the Commanders. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Can't complain just yet, but I'll probably get there soon.
Yeah, and my first question for you, this is a burning one. Everyone in Commanders Nation wants to know about this, Nick. Why does PFF hate Washington?
Well, it started a long time ago. No, PFF hates everybody, man. We hate every fan base. Every fan base hates us. It's just, it's part of territory. It's part of territory, man.
I get it. But my real question for you, one player that is coming off of an injury that you think has the most to prove? Like, you have Chase Young there. You have, obviously, Curtis Samuel coming back. You got Logan Thomas coming back as well. Which one of those guys has the most to prove in this coming season?
I think it's Curtis Samuel, just because you paid him the big bucks. You paid him the big money last year to come in, and he didn't really do anything. And, it's mostly injury related, so tough to put the full blame on him there. But Chase, we've seen it already his rookie year. I'm not too concerned about him. ACLs have not been something that is as hard to recover from recently. But again, we've already seen it from Chase. We haven't seen it from Curtis Samuel yet. And we also haven't gone out to pay Chase as much as we have Curtis Samuel. So I think Samuel needs a big bounce back year. And I think he will, as long as he can stay healthy.
Definitely. And you talked about PFF earlier. Obviously, you work for PFF, and they just came out with their quarterback rankings, and they had Carson Wentz at number 19. Ahead of him was guys like Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think Ryan Tannehill was on that list as well. Do you think 19 is too low, and where would you rank him as far as the top 32 quarterbacks in the league?
I think 19 might be a little too low for me. And you guys know I'm not the biggest Wentz guy.
Yeah, but you're also not like a homer in that sense where you automatically inflate anybody attributed to us.
I think fair spot would be, in that 15, 17 range, somewhere around there. I just don't think he's shown a level of consistency that you can kind of put him anywhere higher. His top end play, I think you can argue that his top end play could put him in that 10 range, the 10 to 8 range or 8 to 10 range. But again, you just don't get that consistent enough to say that's where he belongs. So I think right around 15-ish would be kind of where I would put him. I know, not really going out on a limb there, putting it pretty much bang average, but that's just kind of where I think he is now. I mean, if you can do what no one else has been able to do and get a full good 17 games out of Carson Wentz, then I think we could see him just kind of blow past that number.
I agree with you. Now, my next question for you, one thing that's I think is a positive for Washington, as much as it is, you could say it's a negative, but Dyami Brown, the adding of Jahan Dotson, obviously Curtis Samuel coming back from his injury, then obviously Terry McLaurin being in the rotation as well. I almost feel like that is a positive for Dyami Brown and for this offense, because with him coming in as a rotation, the defense isn't really expecting anything of him. So do you think with this crowded wide receiver room that Dyami Brown being in rotation is actually better for him, especially in this season with Carson Wentz?
The more the merrier. I mean, I love competition. Like, you bring competition in and we're going to find out if he's got it or not. So if you're just kind of putting him out there just because we didn't have enough bodies, and, there's nothing really that he had to compete for. I'm not saying that he didn't compete, but I'm just saying that the more you are forced to compete and the more you're forced to kind of, put yourself out there and try to become better, I think it's always going to be better for you, for the team. And yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And so on Tuesday, luckily, Keith just joined us, and me, Kyle, and Keith were out there at OTAs on Tuesday, and obviously we didn't see like a whole lot. They weren't doing anything crazy. It's just OTAs, but we definitely saw the connection that's starting to grow between Carson Wentz and Jahan Dotson. A lot of the reporters have been reporting on it. Are you taking a lot of stock in that right now because it's only OTAs, or do you think that's going to be something that's going to flourish during the season?
I mean, I think they definitely have the chance to. I don't take much from OTAs. I know everybody wants to just because, football's starting to get back and we all love football. So, I mean, I get it. I tend to just kind of avoid any sort of headlines from OTAs. I can't remember the last time a OTA headline really actually came to fruition in the regular season. But
That's
no,
fair.
I think Dotson and Wentz will have a perfectly fine relationship. And I think you can see Dotson step in right away. And I'm not saying obviously 1,000-yard season, but I'm saying he can step in and be a productive guy in the slot, be a productive guy out wide at times. And I think he was deserving of a first-round pick. I really do. And I think he has the tools to be successful.
My man. And then we are now joined by Keith Gray from the Bleeding Birdie Pod. Thank you for joining us for this episode, Keith. Do you have a question prepared for Mr. Akridge?
Actually, no, because I did not know he was going to be on.
Surprise.
So if you give me a couple minutes, I might muster up one through conversation.
No, you're fine. Go after me. I just sent it to you in DM, a list of a couple questions that I had wrote out. So just look at DM. I got you. But my next question for you, Nick, the Washington Commanders' first game of the season, they just came out on Twitter today and showed they'll be in the burgundy tops with the white pants. Do you like that for the home field look?
Yeah. No, I have absolutely zero problems with the uniforms. I love them. Actually, I do have one problem. I think with the white ones, I feel like if they went with gold in there instead of like the black, the lettering I think they have, I feel like that would have been incredible. But I got no complaints for the jerseys. I think the rebrand was awesome. I'm a big fan of everything they've kind of shown so far.
Nick, do you think that they're trying to mix that jersey with the black pants, which is why the black is in that jersey? It's the only sense I can make out of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, that's the only thing that really makes any sense. When I saw that, I was pissed. I was like, I thought if they put the gold in there, I thought it would look so much better. But
yeah,
again, I'm still a big fan of it. So.
And then, Nick, 2 players Washington added to the offensive line. Obviously, they lost Brandon Sheriff. They released Eric Flowers early on in the offseason. They replaced him with Trey Turner and then Andrew Norwell. What can you tell us about them? Did they have bad seasons last year? And what kind of player is Washington getting?
No, I think both of them have kind of been very consistent players. Nothing too over the top, nothing too crazy grading wise. They're both have just kind of hovered around the high 60, low 70 range throughout their entire career. Norwell, with his first couple seasons in Carolina, was up in the 80s. And then same with Trey Turner when he was in Carolina. So there's that Commanders connection again. But yeah, no, I think it's great signings. I don't question anything they do with the O-line anymore. I made that mistake last year. And Matsko kind of put me in my place with that because he knows what he's doing and he can bring the best out of anyone. And I think these guys Trey Turner is a great depth piece. Andrew Norwell will slot right in, replace Sheriff. I don't think there'll be any problems there. I think it's an upgrade over what they had.
Yeah, and then the schedule recently got released, Nick. Now, what is one matchup that you're looking forward to, just based on like personnel matchups on the field that you're looking forward to, not storylines or Cinderella story type stuff? What is you looking forward to, just in basis of football?
It's tough to not say Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
It's always Cowboys and Eagles for me. I think what I want to see, especially against the Cowboys, is their front seven just kind of tore us up last year. And I think if you got better quarterback play, it wouldn't have looked as bad as it did. So I kind of want to see how, a better quarterback would deal with it. It's not to say that our offensive line was completely dominated by them. It's just the quarterback was kind of putting them in bad spots. I mean, I instantly think of the strip sack. I think he dropped to like 13 yards and everyone's yelling at Sheriff for it, but you can't block.
That's a wide circle.
Yeah, you can't block Micah Parsons 13 yards deep into the backfield. You just can't do it. So I think better quarterback play will help. And yeah, it's always the divisional games for me. I always love the Eagles and Cowboys games as much as I hate those teams.
Keith, right. You got a question prepared? No, nothing. Your mic went out. I'm sorry. Go, Hall.
Yeah. So So, like the top teams in the league, obviously, like, well, I don't know if they're your top team, but like the Ravens, you could say their identity is running the football.
Yeah.
The Patriots, you could say their identity is they're not going to beat themselves. They're going to let you make a mistake and
Probably
capitalize
can't
off of that. So, what do you think Washington's identity should be going into this season, as far as like how they should attack teams and what's their best formula to win?
Just sling it, man. Just let Carson go back there and sling it. I think a lot of teams try too hard to replicate, that tough physical football. But you see some of the best teams out there just lining guys up 4 wide and just kind of letting their quarterback go to work. I'm not a big believer in Carson. I don't think he can do it, but I think you need to let him try. And I think you need to open up the offense. They've been so conservative in years past, and that's just not going to get you the places that you want to be. You can't continue to be that conservative. I think they're going to be a very good defense. I don't know if they'll be top 5. I don't know if they'll be top 10, but I think they'll be a very good defense, better than last year, just because you have more consistency. It's just people playing with each other more, and they can kind of understand how other people play. So I think they're going to be a team that's going to play good defense and hopefully air the ball out and, score more than 15 points a game. That would be nice.
That would be nice. You know how awesome that would be to average 20 plus a game? My goodness.
I always like, how nice would it be just to be a Chiefs and Bills fan when your team's going to score 30? Like,
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time we would ever think that.
The last I remember the Jaguars game when RG3 got hurt early on in the game. Kirk Cousins comes in,
Yeah.
they score 30 points. I remember saying like the Hall, and people were like, man, do you remember the last time that we scored 30 in a game? Like, this is
Doesn't
awesome.
happen.
It doesn't happen. But Nick, what would be the biggest loss for the overall success of the team to start the year of these 3 guys coming off of injury? Chase Rouillet, Logan Thomas, or Chase Young? Which of those guys not being available early on would be the biggest detriment?
I think it's Rouillet. I've been a huge Chase Rouillet fan. I think center is one of the most underrated positions in the NFL. And I think they surprisingly did an incredible job with replacing him last year with like 3-4 different guys.
Yep.
I think Schweitzer can step in and play admirably there. I still like him at guard. But no, Chase Rouillet is so good. He's been a top 5 center in my mind the past couple of years, and losing him kind of, in my mind, kind of crushed us a little bit. So I think you can replace edge production more than you can replace someone like a center. I don't think you can straight up replace Chase Young. You just can't. But you can replace it and piece it together better than you can a center, a top tier center, that is.
Okay.
Nick, is week 1 against Jacksonville, is that a must win already out the gate? Because I mean, we're stacked right now with so many different storylines that's gone off in the offseason, but also, the rebrands. We all know that this fan base is we're deflated, but we're starting to get excited now that football is coming back up. Is it a must win? What happens to us if we lose this game?
I think you just got to blow up the whole franchise if they lose. No, I think it's a must win. I mean, they first overall pick back-to-back years. I just, if you're going to call yourself a team that's going to compete, you got to win those types of games, and you got to win them handily. I think they're a much improved team. I think Trevor Lawrence is very, very good, and he will be very, very good next year. But yeah, if you want to call yourself a team that's going to compete for the NFC East, you have to win those sorts of games. Just have to.
I think that's the scary thing because, our fan base, we're like, oh, week 1, Jacksonville, we got this.
Yep.
But yet you look at the flip side, you look at Jacksonville's Twitter, they're saying the same thing.
They're saying the same thing. They're like, all right, well, if we're not going to be a first overall pick anymore, we have to beat these mid-tier teams. That's what they're saying in their mind. So, I don't, must win is tough because it's week 1. You can always come back from it. But I just think mentally for fans and for the players and for coaches and ownership and all that sort of stuff, I think it's one you got to win.
I definitely agree with you on that one. So this is kind of a 2-part question. PFF came out with another ranking with the wide receivers, and they had Terry McLaurin at 14. First question is, do you think that is too high, too low, or just right? And the second kind of part of that is they have A.J. Brown and DK in front of them. Obviously, they're all from the same draft class. How would you kind of rank those guys in that grouping?
It's like the player haters ball and the Chappelle show.
If Terry ain't number 1 on any list, it's wrong to me. No, I'm just not playing it. But no, I think it's tough to put Terry above the two of them. As homerish as I want to be, I think it's tough to put him ahead. Just if you're looking at the sheer numbers, I mean, he just hasn't had the quarterback play. We all know that. We see him open week in and week out, and he just hasn't had the sort of quarterback play. But those two guys are very, very good. I think he's above DK in my mind, but I don't know if you can put him above A.J. Brown just yet. But I think he's very close to that top 10. And wide receiver is such a stacked position in the NFL right now. You can make arguments for probably 10 to 20 people to be within that top 10, and you wouldn't be called crazy anyway. So, no, I think he belongs in that top 15 range, and anyone who doesn't really have him in the top 15, I just kind of ignore at that point. I think he's so good, and he deserves a quarterback, and he deserves a freaking contract badly.
Yes, he does. I feel like everyone in the Washington area is saying, yes, Nick, yes. But to wrap this up, sorry, what were you saying?
Basically, I'm saying, like, you want to build a culture, you want to build a franchise like this. He's the type of guy that you build around.
Yeah.
I get it. You might have to overpay him. You might have to. That's fine. But he's the type of guy you overpay, and you don't look back and you don't think twice about it.
Absolutely. Now, to wrap this up, I only have a couple more questions for you. One area for Washington that they have to do better at this season than they did last year.
Secondary. I think it's always a secondary for me.
They were last in the league in passing yards last year.
Yeah, you guys know I'm a big secondary and coverage type of person. I love watching it, but no, I think they will be better just because you have, like I said before, more consistency along who's playing. The second year, William Jackson in the scheme, Kendall Fuller. I don't know where they're going to play St. Juice, but I think you need that length on the field. If he can come in and play slot, that would be awesome. But I think you just have more consistency among the primary back four of Jackson, Fuller, Curl, and what's his name? Bobby. McCain. Yes, there we go. Good Lord. I was going to say Bobby Wagner for a second. Good Lord. Yeah, no, and I think it's just the consistency. That's such a huge thing. And it allows players that might not be in that top tier of talent to play better if they just kind of can trust the guy next to him. And if you can, and you know what he's going to do, you can just play within your responsibility and play within your role, and you'll be fine.
My man. And then only a couple more, but this one's a fun one. Last on the 31st, on Tuesday, Terry had like a player's choice basically on NFL Network, and being able to pick the TV schedule and what games he wanted to be shown on NFL Network, like America's Game and other stuff like that. But if you could replay one Washington game, if the NFL Network said, all right, Nick Akridge, for 1 hour, you get to pick one game to be replayed from Washington's history, what game would it be?
I mean, it's got to be one that I've seen live, which is that we're picking from a lot of not great games. So I instantly think of maybe the 2012 season. I think the Cowboys season finale on 2012. At that point, I thought we finally turned it around. Obviously, that didn't happen. So I'd put that one, and also the You Like That game. The comeback against the Bucs. I was at that game. I think that was the last game I've been to. So my girlfriend at the time, yeah, pretty much, yeah. My girlfriend and I at the time went to that game. We got really good seats for it. They went down, and we were like, of course, this is why we don't come to games. And an incredible comeback. Lost my voice. One of the best games I've been to live. So I would pick one of those two, just if it was the You Like That game, just so I could be there again. But yeah. I think 2012 Cowboys, if I'm watching it on TV, I'd pick that one.
There we go. Yeah, I remember that image in my head of Jordan Reed being out on the outside on that goal line, being like, "Oh, yep. easy 6 right here."
I couldn't see it at all, but I just heard the fans yelling, so that's all I heard.
You started screaming. Last one I have. Last week it came out that Washington proposed a stadium rebuild of 55,000, which is less than the NFL's requirements to host a Super Bowl, big stuff like that. What is your opinion on that 55,000?
I don't know if they would ever host a Super Bowl. You don't see many cold weather places doing it. I think 55,000. It's low, but I think it's fine. I'm really for them putting it in my backyard here in Loudoun County in that Sterling area. The place they have picked out was a 1-minute walk from the apartment that I used to be at.
Really?
So that would be a perfect spot for me. Not like I could ever go to any of the games because I'm working on Sundays, but I think 55,000 is fine. I think we're just trying to find stuff to argue about here. I think it would be kind of cool. Have a more of a condensed kind of stadium, and I don't know, maybe makes it louder.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously the streaming aspect of it, the home experience, it's the data is showing that the less you need in stadium capacity. But honestly, Nick, you surprised me. I didn't think that you were going to go in that direction. I thought you were going to say something else about it. It really surprised me. But I can't thank you enough for joining us, brother.
Man of surprises.
I know. But before we get out of here, if you just want to plug your social media handles, just in case anybody watching doesn't follow you yet and would like to.
Yeah, it's just Twitter at PFF_Nick Akridge. I am not tweeting at all right now. I kind of suck at that, but I've been very busy. But once the season gets going, you'll see a lot more from me. Yeah, and that's it. It's just Twitter.
All right, thank you, Nick. You're the man. I hope you enjoy your weekend, enjoy your Friday night. It's a beautiful day today.
I'm gonna go see Top Gun tonight, so pretty pumped for that.
Yeah, make sure you sign up for the Air Force with the recruiter right there outside the theater. All right, Nick, have a good night.
All right, see you guys.
All right, y'all.
Have a good weekend.
All right, we just spoke with the man, Mr. Nick Akridge of Pro Football Focus. Keith, I'm sorry we didn't give you the introduction that you so properly require, sir.
Oh, stop it. No. It was all good. I tried to read your list, but it was slightly difficult.
Yeah,
so
I figured so.
So I just tried to toss in a few, hopefully it was relatable questions. You know, it is what it is.
No, you did a great job. I did put you on the spot. I tried getting it ahead, but you didn't check your DMs, so I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry for putting you on the spot like that, Keith. But
no, you're all good.
Hey, we were just at OTAs on Tuesday. We recorded on Monday night, so it's been one heck of a week. It's felt like forever. So, Keith, it was great to see you out there. It was very, very hot. It was really cool to be with everybody. I just got to give them a hat tip to the Commanders, dude. And they had like this whole tent set up for us, like breakfast served, and water was constantly available to us. I was very impressed.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that, too, you know, I had, as always, because I like to show my gratitude and appreciation. These are things, especially like OTAs, as you guys know, this is not something that happens for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, but they are going to make some, you know, increase a little bit more. They're going to be doing different things to get other fans, you know, involved in this type of stuff as well. But, you know, I shot out an email to Joey and basically, you know, once again, just showed the appreciation and gratitude, you know, for the OTAs. And now that, you know, we don't have these COVID restrictions, it's definitely opening the door for them to be able to help reconnect us back to this team.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Josh Kirby, man, that dude made me laugh all day long, man.
I brought him in.
Did you?
Yeah, man.
I did.
That's my man right there. That's my
You know
man.
what? You know what I like about him? He has no fear. He don't care.
Doesn't. No, he doesn't. And he was embracing the moment. And I know it is what it is, but honestly, those are the type of people that really do strive far. And I respect the heck out of Josh for it because he was embracing the entire situation. I respect the heck out of it.
Yeah, he was. And, you know, that's what it's all about. And, you know, I met up with him and had dinner with his family, you know, prior.
Oh, yeah, he told us about that. Didn't he cook you steaks or something?
Yeah, I had some steak. I had some potatoes and, you know, not mashed, but, you know, just a fully loaded potato. And I got to meet his family. And, you know, man, he's just he's one of those guys where he's a go-getter, man. He wants something. He's going to, you know, work hard to go get it. So, you know, I was happy. I was happy to help get him out there. I know that he was invited, but I don't believe that he reached out in time to let them know that he could go. So I'm just like, come on, dude, you're coming. You're good. You know, they're not going to give you a hard time. And he was out there, you know, living his best life, saying good morning to, you know, the players walking by, and he could give a damn what anyone thought about it. And that's the kind of peoples that I like.
I went to sleep hearing Josh Kirby in my ear. Will you take a picture with me?
Yeah.
He was so funny, man. But I want to get your guys' opinions of OTAs. What is maybe a play that you saw or just something that you witnessed, Hall, that you want to tell people about to voice like what you witnessed?
First off, shout out to whoever made those eggs and potatoes because that shit was banging. But as far as like what I noticed is definitely I definitely noticed the just the offense, honestly. I mean, I wasn't really focused that much on the defense, I'm not even gonna lie. I just wanted to see what Carson looked like and what the receivers were looking like, what Curtis Samuel was looking like. So I was just focused on the downfield stuff, the arm strength, just how fast the ball gets out of Carson's, like out of his hand, like the release, and just how fast it gets him on the receivers. as soon as they're coming out of their breaks, it's pretty much right on them, which is a good thing. We haven't seen that from a quarterback here in a while. So that was just my main thing is the quarterback, just the zip on the ball and just how much speed they're going to have on offense this year is what really stood out to me.
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you, Jahan Dotson, there was one bomb from Carson Wentz. I think it was 11 on 11s, and Jahan Dotson runs a post route, gets past the deep safety, blows past him, and then tracks the ball like it looked like prime Deshaun Jackson, where it's like in stride, over the shoulder, perfect catch for a huge bomb. Jahan Dotson and Carson Wentz are already linking up very well. One thing I will say, guys, about what I witnessed was the option plays that Scott Turner was calling, where they would line up in pistol, which if you don't know what the pistol formation is, just think back to 2012 with RG3 and Alfred Morris, where Carson Wentz was obviously the quarterback there, and then behind him was Antonio Gibson. Curtis Samuel would motion pre-snap to the backfield behind Antonio Gibson, and then they would run an option play off of that. And I'll tell you right now, it was very fast, it was confident, and it was key, dude. Everything gelled very well. It looked like it was comfortable. I was very impressed with the offense. Like to Hall's point, I didn't really see much from the defense just because it wasn't something you really looked out for just because of the way practice was set up and because, honestly, the offense was doing so well. But the other thing I did notice was Curtis Samuel, dude. Fast as lightning. He looks like his normal, healthy self. I was very impressed with him. I've talked something about him early on in the preseason, early on in the offseason, but, dude, he looks ready to go and healthy. Keith, what is something that you saw?
Yeah, so I started from the very beginning. I was paying attention to the drills that the running backs were running, and what I appreciated most was Randy Jordan's intensity for OTAs. He was, not cutting any of those guys slack. He was treating it if it was a legit practice and they're going into a game. So I highly respected that. Watching Jennifer King just through that whole process as well and seeing her grow through her role and be able to see her in action when it's not, during the game,
right,
was a really cool thing for me to watch. I also picked up, and this could be just the fan in me maybe, and there's nothing to it, but when they were running their quarterback rotation drills, it looked like that McKissick and Carson, they were, rotating. So it was, Carson throwing to McKissick, and it looked like that they were utilizing these drills for Carson to be able to start building a rapport with McKissick for that type of, role. So,
yep.
Those were some of the little things that I saw. But what I appreciated the most was these guys didn't treat OTAs like the underwear Olympics, man. They were literally out there. They were running hard, and these coaches were coaching them hard. And I appreciated to see that.
Absolutely. And that's a great point by you, because that's what I was going to finish this off with. Like the intensity, because when they had 11 on 11s, the defense would come up with a near pick. They'd swat down a third down pass, and you heard them get riled up, get happy about it. Coaches screaming. So it was really cool to see the intensity of it just being OTAs, because obviously we've never been to OTAs before, so we don't know what's normal. But speaking of the DB room of Coach Harris, we are now joined by our guest and honestly brother, family member of this podcast, Coach Greg Curl. How you doing on this Friday evening, sir?
I'm doing good. You guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir. I hear you perfectly fine. I know you're on your way back home from work, but we got to say hello to Cam on Tuesday, and that was a lot of fun. But I wanted to ask you something, Coach, before we get into fan questions and everything like that. Coach Rivera talked about recently that Cam Curl's kind of found his voice a little bit, led by example as a leader. What do you is that something that you were surprised by or you expect?
I expect it. I just know the type of person he is. He's going to respect those that, have seniority and experience over them, and he's going to earn it. He's going to work hard, and he'll earn it. He's always been a lead by example. He's going to do everything, but, he's going to listen first and learn when to speak and everything. And that's just the way he was in college, the way he was in high school. No matter the caliber of player he was, he always, tried to earn that respect before he take on a leadership role.
Yeah, and I'm just really glad to hear that, because Cam Curl obviously is one of the most underrated players in this league, and good to find him being comfortable, being able to be himself and be a leader, and being by example. But I want to start this fan question off with our guy Ty Mac. He texted me this question. I'm going to start this with you, Hall. Was there a player you were right about, good or bad, that you seemed to like early on in OTAs?
Yeah. I'm not gonna say that like obviously like no one had Jahan Dotson like mocked him like draft here, but when they picked him, obviously I'd already done a little bit of research on him because I was looking at the wide receivers and I
Mm.
wanted him to draft a wide receiver. So obviously it's just OTAs, but just from what I watched, you already mentioned how he ran that deep post and Carson just dropped it right in the breadbasket, but it was like Jahan was already running like kind of like almost full speed, and then he saw the ball in the air, and it's like he just hit like a whole nother just gear of
Mm.
speed to track the ball and get under it. So definitely pleasantly surprised and like what I see so far from him.
What about, I know, Coach, you're not going to talk bad about anybody. I'm sure you never have. But was there a player that you were right about, good or bad, that you've seen early on so far in OTAs?
Uh, no, I don't know yet. Everybody's been looking good. I haven't spoke bad on anything, and I haven't heard anything, about my quarterback pick. Big Cole Kelly. I haven't
Yeah.
heard anything yet.
Dude, he is
You know,
gigantic.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
I'm a little jealous of you guys. You guys are there and get to go see it. Everything I get is off Twitter.
I got you. Ty Mac, I'll say one player that is probably Curtis Samuel, because I won't say I didn't talk bad about him, but all I said was like I wasn't going to expect anything out of Curtis Samuel until the season, just because like I'm looking at it as a way that he can't do negative in my eyes, only positive, just because that's what you're starting with. Besides that, I think this offense will do well. So it is Curtis Samuel. He looks fast. I said something to him as he walked away when he was signing autographs. I didn't ask for pictures or anything, but I was like, man, you're looking fast out there. And what did he say, Hall?
He was like, "Come on, man, he knows what we do," something like that.
Yeah, which I love that answer. And he's been obviously very confident in this offseason. So if any player, I'll say Curtis Samuel. What about you, Keith?
Yeah, I got to piggyback off you because that was my choice to begin with. Just seeing him out on the field, man, and seeing, the speed out there with him and exactly what you talked about earlier on that one play. It was kind of nice to see because you see the negativity where people get at him for being injured. And that used to drive me nuts. So I wouldn't say that I was wrong because I never judged. How can you judge someone who wasn't out on the field?
Right.
First of all, is the way that I saw it. But the fact that he can silence all the negative people that, were talking their noise about him being hurt. A player can't do anything when they're hurt. Like it's not their fault,
Right.
And so
Right.
just to see him out there, and picking it right back up, not letting that outside noise bother him. I think that we have something special going this season.
I totally agree. And we're going to be piggybacking, talking a little bit about OTAs as we finish up this episode. But Coach Curl, I have a question from the Colonel, and this is a controversial one, but it is intriguing to talk about. His question is, if we don't get a Terry contract soon, do you have any fears that rookie Jahan Dotson, an improved Diami Brown, and a healthy Curtis Samuel could make Terry expendable? After all, Washington could franchise him. He's on a contract for another year.
Well, yeah, it's possible. It is possible, but smart, I don't think so. I think a contract with Terry is gonna get done. I really do. I think it'll get done. They officially cut
Landon Collins.
Landon Collins. Yeah, sorry. They officially cut Landon. They free up that cap space. And I think they're working out, everybody's contract, trying to make sure everybody's happy. But I really think a Terry deal is going to get done, and we won't even have to worry about that.
I hope so. I wish I could have your confidence about the Terry situation. Like early on, like a couple weeks ago, I said I was about a 5 with Terry's contract just because of because we haven't heard anything from Terry yet. But what about you, Keith? What do you think of that question? Do you have any fears that the improved wide receiver room could make Terry expendable?
I have zero fears. Terry can sit right there with that seat with John Allen and some of these others as, the face of the team. There's no reason. Listen, OTAs are OTAs. It would be a perfect world if he was out there, but this is not the way business works, right? He's owed his money. This is the way I see it. So is it the end of the world that he's missing these specific OTAs right now in order to get his deal done? Nope, not in my opinion, because he's a baller and he's going to go out and do his thing regardless. So I think we fans just need to be patient. I read a lot on Twitter. Did we sign Terry today? Did we listen? Stop it. Relax. Calm down. Let the professionals do their job. He'll get signed. He has no, I believe he has no interest in going anywhere else. I think he's excited about, Carson, at quarterback. Let's just make it happen. He finally has a quarterback. No offense to the other guys, right? I'm not trying to trash anybody, but I believe, in my opinion, he has a stable quarterback that's going to not only feed him, but Carson's going to be able to feed the other guys too. And I think the other guys are going to respect Terry the minute he walks on the field, because he is a true captain and leader.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do. If you look at it in a vacuum, Colonel, I can understand what you mean by the wide receiver room being plentiful, you could say, just on paper, to the point where you could say, would Terry be expendable? But looking at it from like the overall standpoint, with the fact that he was the face of the rebrand, was in those pictures, I don't think he is expendable, because he's not just on the football side. It is also the rebrand, sales, and other stuff like that. All those reasons bringing this in, I don't think he is expendable with those. But yeah. I'm just being honest. I love me some Terry. I don't think Terry is expendable. If I was being perfectly honest with you, if I was sitting down Ron Rivera, I'd probably say, no, sign that, please, right now. Get him to do whatever it is. Just sign it. And I know that's stupid to say, but that's just how much I love Terry. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I don't really have any, I pretty much zero worries, just for all the reasons you guys pretty much already stated. And just like kind of Keith mentioned, that this is a team that's starting to reconnect to the fan base and trying to do more stuff. I mean, let's be honest. The number one thing that you can do to lose more fans and kind of disconnect from the fan base would to be not to get the deal done with Terry.
Right.
Just because obviously Twitter, just fans all over the country would be up in riots. So, I would love to see, obviously, De'Ami Brown and guys like that. I think Jahan Dotson is going to be pretty good, if not special. But in a heavy offensive passing league, that's what the league's forming into nowadays, you need multiple wide receivers. So it wouldn't really make any sense to get rid of not only your captain, your team leader, the face of your franchise, but not only that, but your best wide receiver at that. So
exactly,
I definitely think it gets done. So it's just a matter of time at this point.
That's a great point. Even if you look at the Rams last season, when they lost Robert Woods and others, they had to go sign Odell. They had to continue sign guys at free agency, to your point of you needing wide receivers, and it's good to have plenty of them.
His face was all over the rebrand too.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to be a part of it. He was asked if he wanted to be a part of that. You don't put somebody on a rebrand and then say, hey, we can only pay you this. You know what I mean?
He's in their long-term plans, without a doubt. And that's where my concern with Terry comes from, is on Terry's side. Because I haven't heard coming out of Terry's mouth that he doesn't want to be anywhere else. And obviously he's not going to do that in a contract situation, because it's negotiations. You don't want to tip your hand. But I'm just saying that's why I have that fear sitting there. But now our next question is from Twitter with Scott Hartley. Oi, in the UK. Oi. And I'll start this with you, Coach. After your trip I know that you didn't go to OTAs, but let's just say off of what you've seen off Twitter, is there a position group that you're now more excited about?
The wide receiver group? Yeah, I'm real excited about that, man. Because, hey, we're going to fill some lanes. We got speed. I mean, we're going to stretch the ball. I'm really excited to see what those guys do, man.
That's what she said. Yeah, me too. I'm with you, Coach Carl. That's an easy one with the wide receiver group, but I will be honest with you. I'm going to be straight up. It's the quarterback room. And just because of what Carson Wentz brings, being able to see what he can do in person, how far the one ball, I think, to Jahan Dotson, dude, I'm telling you, it traveled 60 yards in the air. It was an absolute bomb, and it was hard for me to be able to look and see where that ball came off from. And I know it started at the 15. Pretty sure it dropped at the 20 or 15 on the other side. It was an absolute bomb, and I'm really excited about that. But then also Sam Howell, seeing him throw the football, he's got that thing on a rope. As much as, when you see Sam Howell, you're like, you thought he'd be bigger, but when he throws the football, dude, he throws it like he's 6'5". He's got a cannon for an arm, and then Taylor's a good quarterback with knowing where the offense is, getting the ball to the checkdowns, getting the ball where it needs to go instead of having to press and trying to be something that he's not. I thought Taylor looked really good. So if there's any position group that I'm really excited about after OTAs, it's the quarterback room, because this is something that we are not used to, what I witnessed at OTAs. What about you, Keith? It's okay to piggyback off Coach.
I know, I don't want to say the same thing that everyone else is saying, but I'm going to have to kind of side with, the DB group.
Okay.
I want, now that everyone's healthy, I want to see what we have in that backfield. We know what we're getting out of some of these guys, but St. Juice was injured. We're not really sure where he's gonna, fit in. So I'm just kind of interested to see what Jack Del Rio, what his plans are now that our guys are healthy, and hopefully we don't have to sit at a game and say, why is Cam Curl not in? Because I know that we did that several times where we're just like, yo, why are you trying to fix something that isn't broken? Type of deal. So, it's just one of those things. So I'm actually excited to watch our defense, to be honest. I mean, Carson's the quarterback and the wide receiver. That's the easiest thing to say because we want to see some offense. I'm a defense guy, man. I want to see some violent hits.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was very surprised by William Jackson III and Benjamin St. Juice. They're tall guys, man. They're long too. I was very surprised by that. And then also Benjamin St. Juice lining up in the slot. That's a very intriguing group. That's a good pick by you, Keith. Hall, who are you most excited about after going to OTAs? And I hope you answer the way I want you to.
I'm going to say the tight end group.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah. Logan Thomas wasn't out there. I mean, he was out there, but he wasn't practicing. I saw him running around, running from drill to drill. So definitely a great sign to see him kind of jogging around running. But definitely the tight end group. Obviously, we saw Cole Turner out there. First of all, the dude is a giant, like just crazy. So he's
very nice kid, by the way.
Yeah, very nice dude. It's going to be a great red zone target. We saw him running drills, him and Carson kind of getting in sync. And then you saw John Bates also as well, kind of slipping out into the flats, catching everything thrown his way. So obviously we know what we got in Logan Thomas, and when he gets back healthy, I think he'll be returned to his like top 5 to 10 tight end form. But to have a guy like John Bates coming off, who's a great blocker and can kind of be sneaky good in the passing game, and then a guy like Cole Turner, who's just a giant and going to be, I think it's going to be really good for our offense. And Scott Turner seems to love him as well. So definitely the tight end group is something that I was pretty impressed by.
Yeah, and that's a really great one because we talked to Logan on Monday, and he was glowed about that tight end room and the 10 years he's covered this team. It's never been this good just with athletic ability. But let's piggyback to this next fan question, and this is from Aki G, who sent it to me through DM. He has a great question piggybacking off the tight ends. With all the intriguing prospects at tight end behind Logan Thomas, if one or two of them show they could be better than Logan, how long do you think Logan has before he's released? Hall.
They're not going to – I mean, he just got a contract, so I don't think they're planning on releasing him anytime soon. And, like, obviously, like, I know the potential is there for, like, other guys, and you want to see guys get reps, which they're doing right now in OTAs. But, I mean, let's be honest. Logan Thomas is the top dog in that room. There's no one that's going to be able to top him in that room as of right now. Maybe someone emerges. Me personally, I kind of doubt it just because Logan Thomas is kind of just so athletic, so big, and just has that catch radius everyone loves to talk about. So, and he's a quarterback's best friend. And Carson Wentz thrives off of tall, like kind of bigger tight ends. So I think Logan Thomas is here. I'm not going to say the long term because he's kind of up there in age, but definitely for the foreseeable future.
I saw you nodding your head there, Coach. Do you being a coach, obviously you know how teams are built, and it's business, right? Things happen. What do you think? How long do you think Logan has?
I think he'll definitely play out his contract.
Yeah.
Most definitely, like Hall said, he's up there, for a football player. He's still a young man to me, but I think I know for sure. I feel confident that he will play out his contract with Washington. I really don't see anybody in that room like just coming out and just really moving him out of the way. With that experience and man, the plays that he make, dude, he's just I think he's here.
I agree. What do you think, Keith?
I can't stress this enough is a player never loses their spot because of injury. And again, don't try to fix something that isn't broken. If he comes back, he's 100% healthy. He's going to continue to ball the way that he's been doing. And we fans need to sit back and actually appreciate that and stop not really speaking to this gentleman's question, but just in general, because I don't want him to think I'm coming after him, but just in general, like,
you're not. Don't worry.
Yeah. But like, just, we got to stop thinking like this as fans too. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are hurt, man. And they went hurt because they were out there busting their ass playing. So when they come back, we gotta cheer them on and let them know that we're still 100%. And even if they're struggling when they first come back, because they're trying to get back into game speed and all of that, we got to stand behind these guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, because we were all standing behind him when he caught that one-handed touchdown, last season.
Yep.
So we got to keep that same energy, man. And I think that we're on that right track as fans to be able to do that.
I agree with you. And the one thing I will say, Aki, with the tight end position, it's probably one of the hardest positions besides quarterback because these guys have to be able to beat DBs, catch the football, but also be able to block like an offensive lineman. It's incredibly hard to do. And I know that Cole Turner and the rest of these guys have looked really, really good. But the fact is, once you get to Sundays, it's very, very difficult to be able to get on that field. And I am trepidatious about the Juan Castillo coaching position, being able to get these guys up and running to the point where they're overtaking Logan Thomas anytime soon. We saw Bates kind of come into his own later on in the season, but even he, you could say, is a stretch away from overtaking Logan Thomas. So I would say he's going to play out his contract just like Coach and Hall and Keith have all said. Logan, this is his job. He's earned it, and I understand where his age and everything is at, obviously coming off of an injury, but the leadership aspect, I think because of Pete Hainer leaving, Logan Thomas is much more valuable now than he was before, if that makes any sense, without any disrespect to Logan, without saying that. But the next question we have is from Scott Hartley in the UK. Oi! Just saw some analysts listing our offense as 18th in the league, Coach Curl. Do you feel we are better than this? About right, or are we too high on this offense going into the season?
I don't think we're too high. Man, I'm not one to grade off of potential. We look good. Give me game 2 or game 3 of preseason, and I can really tell you how the offense looked. But on paper, I think we about right. I'll say about 15, 16 on paper. But I think but that's the start. I really think our offense is better than that. We'll be better than that come the season or, mid-season and when it starts to count. I really think we'll be better than that. This team is going to the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I understand what you mean by that. Essentially saying that, you believe in them and everything. Like, that on paper, but you also understand that you just based off paper, you can't be as good as what it says on. Like, you have to earn it, essentially.
Yes.
And so I understand why they'd be ranked at 18th. They haven't done anything yet. Last season, they were 24th in passing plays of 40-plus yards. They were 25th in passing plays in 20-plus yards, 12th in rushing yards, 20th in yards per carry, and then 23rd in the NFL with 20-plus runs with 8. So it's not like this was an offense that was explosive last season to the point where you say, obviously they've earned it. They've added Carson Wentz. They have to earn that respect. And so the fact that they are 18th on this list, I think is actually a good thing. But I agree with Coach Curl that this is just the beginning. 18th is not where they're going to end at. This is just the beginning of it. And I could definitely see them getting into the top 10 based on what I saw at OTAs. What do you think, Keith?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. 18's reasonable to say now, but you can't truthfully judge anything. I don't like to judge anything from paper. I like to judge from my eyes. And that's even saying a little bit because at the end of the day, I'm just a dumb fan sitting on the couch, right? So, my eyes may not see what some professionals or people who do it for a living would see, but I would say that. But I definitely think if you look at what we have on paper as a fan, you would definitely want to say, yeah, we should be able to move up to the top 10, hopefully. And I think that, these first 3-4 games, we're really going to get a good look and know where we're going to stand for the season.
I agree with you. Do you agree with them, Hall?
Yeah. Like y'all said, you can't really judge anything right now. It's just on paper. And it's like, I guess they're probably looking at the potential of everyone being healthy and playing close to a full season, what that could look like. But most people have Carson Wentz ranked as a quarterback around that 15 to
19th.
18. Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying like not everyone has a 19.
That was Chris Sims's QB rankings.
So like most people would probably put Carson between that 15, 16 to 19, 20 range. So it would make sense that they would rank our offense around that 19 to 18 range. But like Coach said, they may start at 18, but I could definitely see them creeping up to like 10, 11, 12 by the season's end, just because if everyone can stay healthy. Carson can put together, at least 15 to 16 games next year. So I definitely think that 18 is good. and probably sounds about right. But like everyone said, they can definitely grow and be that top 10 to 12 range.
Yeah, now, Coach Curl, this next question is from our Discord chat server from Andy Lockhart. Thank you, Andy, in the UK. Oi! Now that Landon Collins' contract is off the books, do you see us signing Terry 100% signed, sealed, and delivered, or do you see us to go after a linebacker in free agency?
I see us taking care of Terry first.
Do you think they'll go after somebody in free agency for linebacker?
I don't know. Well, they don't seem urgent.
Right.
You know, I don't see an urgency in from the coaches or anybody to doing that. If a no-brainer or a deal, you know, we see somebody in free agents like, man, we just have to get that guy, then maybe. But I really don't see him no urgency in trying to go out and sign a free agent linebacker. They giving the keys to the car to Cole Holcomb, and you know, and I think Coach trusts him in that. And I think we're only gonna see a lot of 2 linebacker sets anyway. So
that's all we really ran last season, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, to piggy on that, I mean, it looks like they definitely gave the keys to Cole. There's no there's no question about that. And you know, after, unfortunately for Bostic, when he got hurt, Cole Holcomb really emerged in that role for the rest of the season. So, you know, again, let him do it again this season. See what we truly, you know, really have, you know, in that quarterback linebacking position. You know, so it just, to me, it doesn't look like there's any, you know, that they have any pressing need right now that they need to sign a guy for that role.
And I understand what you're saying, Andy. I do agree that now that Landon is now officially released with his June 1st designation cut, that now the extra money is able to be used on Terry right away. So that way you could get him signed, sealed, and delivered, like you said. I do agree, but I do think it's going to go towards Terry. I don't think it's going to be towards a linebacker. Like, so to speak, like Coach said, they're giving the keys to the mullet. You know, and they're really trusting in him. Even Bobby McCain said he's probably one of the best linebackers he's ever played with. J.D. McKissick had similar sentiments as well about Cole Holcomb. So I think that they are comfortable with that linebacker room, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like Devin Bush becomes available from the Steelers or something like that they just go get somebody cheap just to bring. I know Devin Bush probably won't be cheap, but just bring in somebody just for veteran depth. I could definitely and wholeheartedly see that. Now, what about you, Hall?
Yeah, I think they'll eventually bring in a veteran guy just because they need more bodies in that room, to be honest with you. Like, they have Jamin, Cole Holcomb, Khalid Hudson, and maybe a couple other guys, but you got to figure once like final roster cuts come, how many actual linebackers are going to be on the roster that are here now. So I feel like you got to get maybe like a veteran type guy that's, like you said, been released after that June 1st designation. But I definitely do think that I actually think they'll sign a linebacker first before they get Terry done. I do think they'll get Terry done eventually, but I think they get a linebacker done or bring in the linebacker just because they're going to want to have him here before training camp starts so we can get acclimated and kind of know what's going on. So, and I think Terry gets done like right before training camp, I think. So, yeah, I think both things will happen, but I think the linebacker will be one of the first things, and then Terry gets done secondly.
I agree. Now, our next question is from Jeff Miles in the Discord chat server. Coach, this is something that you probably care deeply about. DC or Marvel? Characters, not movies. I will argue with anyone. DC has it, although I'll admit Marvel movies are far better.
Are they fighting? I mean, because I'm going with Marvel.
Okay. Marvel characters?
Yeah.
I don't know, Jeff. Honestly, I don't have a horse in this fight, man. But I'll just say DC to be argumentative. Isn't Batman DC?
Yeah.
So I'll go DC. Batman all the way.
I think people are sleeping on Superman and Lois on TV too. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not a DC guy. I agree. Marvel's where it's at, but I don't hear enough people talking about. Yes, I did, and it's good.
What did he watch?
It's on the WB. Whatever.
Yeah, it comes on like the WB CW, Joe. Like,
it's not cool because they don't say shit and damn and all that.
I watch it too, Keith. It's pretty good.
All right, I appreciate it.
I mean, look, I knew what it was. You don't think I'd watched like the first season? I knew what it was and what channel it came on. So,
All right.
Yeah, but you were
but
trashing
no, I
it.
mean, I don't know. I don't like toe to toe. I don't really like know like all like the Marvel characters and like DC characters, but I'm just gonna go based off the movies. Marvel movies are like 1,000 times better than DC. So just based off of that, I'm gonna say Marvel characters are better.
DC all the way, man. I'm so passionate about this subject. Thank you for the question, Jeff. No, that was a good one. It was outside the box. It made us talk about something. But speaking of that, the next question is from Sergio Martin out in Spain, Coach. What's the best TV series you've ever watched?
Wow. The best I've ever watched? Probably The Wire.
I knew
Yeah,
it.
see,
Yep.
Sergio Martin said I did my degree final paper about The Wire and the slang used. Loved everything about that show. Is what he said.
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite series. That's the only series I watched every season and every episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Keith? What's the best TV series you've ever watched?
Yeah, so unfortunately I got to roll because I know a lot of people would say this, but Game of Thrones. But if I had to pick something that was current, The Last Kingdom on Netflix is really good too. So it's kind of, it was kind of similar to Game of Thrones, a little bit more low budgety, but it was worth it. To watch 5 seasons. They didn't drag it out. They told the storyline well. So if you're into Game of Thrones, The Last Kingdom's good too.
Yeah, look, one thing you guys gotta know about me, man, I'm like basically an old guy at heart. So my best, my favorite, probably the best TV series I've ever witnessed and watched was Band of Brothers, depicting the 101st Airborne, going through D-Day and everything. Just because the historical aspect of it being so accurate, portraying the actual characters that they're playing, but also the historical relevance. Like, it has everything about that war wrapped into one, ending it with the concentration camps in Germany and all over. It really does wrap everything together, not including the action scenes and the social kind of political aspect of everything and the situational awareness of everything and showing you what war was like. It's Band of Brothers by far, man. It just had everything. What about you,
I like
Hall?
that.
Yeah, I'm with Coach. I got to go with The Wire. That's one of the few shows that I've watched like start to finish. I've watched like 2 or 3 times, like every single season from start to finish. And yeah, I mean, even season 2, people hate on season 2, like the docs. Coach knows what I'm talking about. It really had nothing to do with like anything else in the storyline. It was random.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, there's The Wire, just all-time legendary, great show.
Absolutely, dude. I like those. You can't go wrong with The Wire. It's what everyone says. I'm surprised you didn't say Breaking Bad or something.
See, I never finished Breaking Bad all the way through. That's what I'm saying. Like, The Wire is like one show that I finished from start to end, and I've watched it like 2, 3 times. So,
And people need to quit talking about Stranger Things. That show's trash.
Yeah.
Ozark can kick rocks too.
Ozark can kick rocks.
Ozark was good too. But
No, I will
it's not
say
it's not
one
the
show
top.
that does not get enough credit is my show Psych. I love that show so much, dude. It's hilarious. Every single episode is so funny.
Gus
and
is my guy.
dude. Didn't I put you on to Psych?
You did.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's hysterical, and I can't find it anywhere. I'm not paying for it, which sucks. All right, Keith, Coach, it's going to wrap us up for this episode. I can't thank you guys for coming here and joining us. I know with all the circumstances permitting surrounding everything today, I'm really gracious of you guys for being able to come on here and take some time out to talk with us.
Hey, no problem, man. No problem. Hey, just want to let you guys know at the end of this month, on June 25th, your boy Cameron is doing a free camp for the kids here locally in Muskogee. And the camp was slotted for 150 kids, and it filled up within a week, man.
Wow. That's so
Yeah.
awesome. And I know he's gonna love it. Did Cam do a bunch of camps when he was a kid too?
He would go to some, and some we couldn't go to at the time. I couldn't afford it. That's why he made his camp 100% free.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yes,
Hell
100%
yeah.
free, and the kids are still going to get T-shirts, gift bags,
Man,
all kind of stuff. And he didn't want no kid to say they couldn't come because they couldn't afford it.
that is so freaking cool, man.
That's awesome.
Man, Cam Curl just every day just proving himself, man.
And Coach, I know that we always talk about your son, but real quick, I really wanted to talk about you. I wanted to thank you for your participation on Twitter. You definitely, I love your tweets because a lot of times, even when we're not talking football, you're just talking everyday stuff with us, and you're actually communicating with the fans. And I don't know if anybody's, really ever told you, but like that's the best way to reconnect this fan base and make us feel like we're a part of something. And you're doing that on Twitter with us. And I personally couldn't appreciate that anymore, because it just makes me feel like I'm really a part of what you guys are doing. And I know that we use the term family a lot, but you do that when you're doing these podcasts. And I know these fans are loving it. So, just from me to you, thank you. Cause I love to laugh at a lot of your tweets, because I joke around all the time. And sometimes I don't know if I'm like, I don't know if I'm replying back to you and you're going to get that I'm joking, but the fact that you just interact with us, man, it just really brings a whole different level and thought process with us fans. So definitely appreciate you for that.
Hey, I did 7 years in the Navy. Trust me, I can recognize sarcasm.
Yeah, I figured you could handle it. It was just like, I ain't gonna mess with them too much. I don't know them yet.
They don't make waffles in the Curl household anymore, I'll tell you that. All right, everybody, that's gonna wrap us up for this episode. I'm Kyle.
Hall, an honorable mention for TV shows, Scrubs. My twin brother Turkleton.
That was all right.
Oh my goodness.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, absolutely. And also shout out to Reed. Obviously, he's in pain right now, going through everything. I hope he's all right. If you guys could reach out to Reed, just hope that he feels better. He's in a bunch of pain right now, but I'm sure he'll be back with us on Monday. Keith, Coach,
He'll be all right.
Real quick before we get out of here, if you guys want to plug your social media handles, just in case anybody watching wants to come follow you guys.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, I was gonna say, if you want, you can follow me at KGSkins26. Chances are I'll just argue with you, so let's do it.
Hey, Coach Greg Curl on Instagram, Twitter. I'm easy to find. And hey, I'll accept anybody too, I just don't like to talk about politics.
and that's understandable, especially on social media, Coach. That would make you very, very wise. All right, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thank you to Cameron Curl, by the way, for making that camp free, man. That's just awesome of him to do, man. It's so freaking cool. All right, everybody. We'll see you on Monday. Please be safe. Enjoy the weekend in the nice weather. Be safe. Washington football. Woo! Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. And if you liked what you saw, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you get notified when anything new is uploaded to the channel. Also, we just launched theburgundyzone.com. You can go there and find all of our latest news, articles, and the latest episodes that are uploaded. Again, we also have the Discord chat server, where all of our VIP folks are in, like Andy Burrows, Scott Hartley, Sergio Martin is in there as well. Don't miss out on the Discord chat server. Go and check that out. Until next time, everybody, Washington football. Woo!